Hello and welcome back to science. Today we're going to be doing several different things. One of those is going to be creating this sheet. I understand that you can't read all of it just yet, but you're going to see that we're going to be going through and producing this. This is going to be a short activity. So the carbon compound, the reason we're talking about it is the carbon compound is hugely important. It is so important. So today in this lesson, we will discuss the role of carbon in forming biological chains. That'll be a learning objective. So, our closing task students will be able to describe how carbon bonds to other atoms and acknowledges that carbon's versatility in bonding allows it to make different types of compounds. So, if you're not getting this, carbon is so important. It is small and it has four valence electrons, which we'll get to in just a moment. So originally thought to be compounds produced in by living organisms only. And so as we're completing this, you're going to see that we're going to see that these biological organisms are going to make this. And so life makes carbon-based compounds, but it uses carbon to make these carbon-based compounds. Now, all of these carbon compounds are going to form into many of them forming into long chains. So carbon is going to have another thing bonded to it, another thing bonded to it, and you're going to see these long carbon chains. Like if you made each carbon like a link in a chain, you'll see many of these carbon put together to form these large structures. So the reason and really the how it's doing this is uh, if you look at the structure here, so this carbon is going to have 4 electrons in its outer shell. These are called valence electrons. Now it has more than 4 electrons, but these are in the outer shell. The outer shell electrons are the one that's going to determine the behavior of that compound, of that atom. So due to this, it needs a total of 8 to be the most stable. To do this, it's going to bond with something here, something here, something here, and something here. Now, that is just if it's a single bond. You're going to have this long chain because a carbon can bond here and another carbon can bond because all of them are going to have the same features. You could bind hydrogens here, and oftentimes you'll see that. But due to the structure of carbon, if you look at a periodic table, and I'm going to try to fish one out of my papers. Okay. I don't see my periodic table, but if you looked at a periodic table, you would find that it's going to be in that column where it has 4 electrons in its outer shell. Everything in that column does, but this is at the top because it is the smallest is the smallest atom with 4 electrons in its outer shell. Due to that, it's going to be the ideal thing for making long carbon chains. So carbon, being its small size and 4 electrons in its outer shell, makes it a very stable compound, as well as one that is just prone to forming long chains. On page 37, you can read about the chemistry of carbon. Excuse me. So with bonds, here we have a single bond. Single bonds are going to be a very straight chain. You can see the identifying the structure of a straight chain that we have of these different structures. So take a look at this. Here we have a single bond. Sometimes you have to share this bond, and it's going to make something called a double bond, as you can see with these 2 lines. And sometimes you're going to have a triple bond. You're not going to be expected to do any single, double, or triple bonding, but it's just identifying some of the other versatilities of carbon. All right, guys, this is just an introduction on carbon. Make sure that you're digging through, and we'll quickly get to other stuff.